Hey, this is part 3 of 5.2 CAD modeling skills. We're going to be working on the Automoblocks wheel here, and it shows us what things we're going to do: circle, offset, geometric constraints, general dimensioning. One new thing that you'll see is project geometry, some trim and extend, and circular patterns. So there's a few new things in here. Like all the other videos, make sure you're paying attention to what's going on and how it's working. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a sketch. Looks like this. It has a bunch of concentric circles that are various distances from each other, and those distances will set the overall. So we need 4 concentric circles, starting with one that's about 2 of them here that are the first 2. We're going to make those 2 first and put those dimensions in, and then we'll work our others in. So we're going to start with 2 concentric circles, start them in the center. If we start most things, just throw those out there like that. Then we're going to check our dimensions here. Now they need to be this distance from each other, which is 0.05 inches. We'll set that one in first, and then we'll set the next one at 0.44. Choose the dimensions as you're setting them in based on sort of what things already are, so that you know what you're getting as things will move around. If they move around in a weird way that you're not expecting, that's okay. You're going to set other dimensions. So the first dimension was the dimension between the 2 circles. You can see where the arrows are pointing. I chose each of the 2 circles. Now the next one is going to be the outer circle, and that's going to be a distance of 0.440. And so my circles have moved in and out, and that's okay, making sure that I've got the right size, and it is 0.440, 0.050. The next 2 are going to be larger on the outside than that, so that's why I did those first, to make sure I kind of keep a general idea. So the next one is going to go larger, but with still having the same center. It's concentric, and we've already set that by choosing the same center, and make one more outside of that. So now we're going to set the dimensions. First one I'm going to do is between the 2 at 0.050, the same. The 2 outermost circles. So we go a dimension from the 2 most outer circles of 0.050. And then we're going to go the distance between the 2 middle circles, and that's a 0.350. So we're left with a fully constrained, we can tell because it's all that purpley blue shape, and it's all concentric. So this is where we're going to finish sketch on this one, and even though those parts aren't touching, we are going to extrude this. We're going to add to them a little bit later on. And the extrusion is given here with this dimension. We can see its extension lines extending to either side of the shape, 0.57. So we're going to use that. And when we create it, we're extending both the outer and inner rings of the sketch to the depth shown in the view. And then we're going to create a new sketch on the flat face and use some project geometry. So there's going to be a couple of interesting things here. So let's extrude it first to the 0.57, because we need that. We're going to extrude. And this time we need to make sure that we're selecting both of those rings. Make sure you get that ring look, both of those. 0.57 inches. Should look like this when you're done. Make sure that it does. If it doesn't, you're going to need to edit your feature to make it look like that. Now, next thing is we're going to create a new sketch on this face right here. One of the edges of that, and it says we need to use a mid-plane extrusion for what we're doing. So it looks like we're going to add this little bit of a cap in there that creates a connection between those inner and outer rings, because even though we can create this in a computer, doesn't mean we can build that in real life. So we're going to create a 2D sketch on that face, and then we're going to use the project geometry to make sure we get those two circles shown, and we'll see the yellow circles there. Now that's all we have to do to create this sketch, so we can finish it. We're going to do extrude. Now this time we're doing a mid-plane extrusion. So on our extrusion here we have choices of what we're going to do. So we're going to do mid-plane, and we want to choose that inner circle. What's going to happen is it's going to extrude both directions, both into our shape and out of our shape, which is good. It's going to create a connection there that's nice and solid. And it's a 0.050. So that's plastic then that we could actually design and build that. That's a real life shape now. 0.050 is the extrusion on that. So let's put that amount in there. 0.050. And so we've got it sticking out just a little bit, and it's actually going into our shape as well a little bit. Alright, so next part, let's see what else we need to do here. So we've done that. Now we're going to create the face pattern, which is going to be a new shape that we're going to create, which is an arc shape or a circle shape that's in on this. And we don't have the exact dimensions that from our measurements, but we're going to put these in. We're going to use these 0.250 dimensions as that shape and where that's set in there. So let's go in here. We may have to add some of our own, but that's fine. We're going to make sure we set it on the correct face, and this is on that part that we just created. So we're going to create a new sketch on this new part that we just extruded here. Do a project geometry so we know we have that inner circle there. And we're going to do, let's do a circle command. It's going to go right off of the edge, and we're going to go up to the top here, laying it on the projected geometry. We're going to bring it out and do it as 0.25 and set that in there. Now that's looking a little small because we wanted it a little bit larger. So if we look at our drawing and wonder why that is, you know what, since that's talking about an arc, that's probably a radius and it's looking a little small. So let's double that size and see if that doesn't make it look a little bit better. So it escapes, we get out of our command, and we're going to double click that dimension. Let's change it to 0.5. That looks much better. Now what we don't have is we don't have this trimmed down. We want just this circle in here, not everything else out there. So let's go up here, and in our modify there's trim, little scissors, and we're going to come up and we're going to select the outside of our wheel circle, click that, and that disappears. That looks much better there. So now we're going to make a circular pattern out of this. So we're going to select circular pattern, and the first thing we want is the geometry, which is that arc there, and then we need an axis, what we're going around. We can select either the circle here, or the center. Let's do the circle on the outside here, and that's going to put a bunch of those in there. Now we've got to see that we have the right amount of them in, so we're going to check our drawing, and there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So let's put a 5 in here for the number of times this happens, and that adjusts out. Now it's going around the full 360 degrees. We could do less. We could do 180, but those would get a little cramped there. So that's something to keep in mind you could do. Let's go back to our 360 so it's all the way around. And click OK. Now we have a nice circular pattern around there, and that will work out real nice for the next part here. So we've got those taken in, and we're going to cut those bits out now. We're going to do an extrusion cut. We saw this once before with the star, if you had to do that. If not, you're lucky, but now you get to do it. So I'm going to go finish sketch, go to extrusion. This is going to be a cut, so we're going to select cut, and then we want to make sure that we're going through and we're selecting all of just those little bits. So, whoops, we got something extra there. Let's try that again. We're going to cancel that and we'll try it again. This can be kind of tricky sometimes, selecting this bits and pieces, so we're going to have to be real careful how we select this. And it's looking like it doesn't really like those shapes, so that means we need to finish up and get some of that sketch figured out. So we're going to go back to sketch 3, which was our shape here, and let's try drawing a circle from the center out to the ends of that. Now those should be all connected, but they seem not to be, so that's okay. Try that again, see if that helps. Extrude. And it's happy about selecting this one. See if we can get those others. It's not too happy about that. Well, we're going to use this as an advantage because we can still do this. So we're going to cut that one out, click OK, and we can do the circular pattern for a feature as well. So if it's not working the first way we try it, we'll try another one. So we're going to shoot the feature. It's feature 3, it's extrusion 3, select that, and the rotation axis is going to be around the center again here, and it will do that. And so there's going to be 5 of these, just like we said before, and click OK, and it'll cut those out. So there's more than one way to do just about everything in Inventor, and this way we did it here with that feature. Now these hubs, these wheels, is one design. There could be certainly many designs. If you're interested in making your own design, that's something that we could do, and you could get some extra credit for it. So that's up to you to decide. You can set the pattern on here, the shape, the color. That's probably an aluminum. I'll let you decide that. We just need to simply save this here, save that as, and this will be the T9 wheel. So you have that saved into that. Now we'll complete 5.2. That should be all of the different parts. What I want you to do is answer these questions, and you will drop box the answers to the questions to School Loop. The rest of these will be saved on your student drive, and that's where I will see those and grade those. So you should be finished with this today. And this is Friday, the 16th of January. If you're behind on that, make sure you come in after school.